And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever we may be in this beautiful, awakening, transforming planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Meetup with Marc Live here on my Intuitive Prospector page. Hope that you're joining us this morning. Sorry for a little bit tardy today. For some reason, my music library did not want to load. I have approved music that I can use on my YouTube videos or social media videos or even my podcast. And for some reason, the Meta collection did not want to load today. So they're experiencing some changes. So I had to come up with some alternative audio blocks that are free as well. So you don't get, trademark or copyright free because it'll mute you with social media. So good morning to all of you. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. We're going to go for a little bit here, give you a message. Today is going to be talking about growth and how sometimes growth can be very, very painful, but necessary in order to overcome, to achieve, to push yourself past your mindsets. And, I've been doing a lot of writing, a lot of interviews as of lately, have some upcoming shows based on, we got one coming up here in a couple weeks on manifesting for the power of manifesting interview that I did, master class that we're doing, also another podcast at the end of this month where I'm being interviewed. And then I did a featured article over on, sorry, I got to push my pillow down here. Bad back. So we did a Cobble Rebel, I think is the name of the magazine. Let me see here. What was the name of the magazine that just did I think it's Canvas Rebel. Okay, so I had to think about that for a second. But I just did a featured interview on Canvas Rebel, and they're featuring me in their magazine. That link will be up at my website soon. I'm updating my website here at marclainhart.com with my latest articles, latest interviews. And if you want to book a reading with me, I'm now open for 2025, the year of the nine in numerology, the year of snake in Chinese astrology. So a lot's going to be happening. But this morning, just want to give a shout out to all of my listeners, followers, my team of admins that keep social media positive, because social media has really changed today. It's broken. And so one of the things I've done is I've actually moved over to a new platform. I'm really considering getting off some of the platforms that I'm on. Facebook, I'll stay on. I know Facebook, according to my nieces and nephews, are for old people, but it has a good reach in a lot of different groups and can reach a lot more people with messages. But one of the platforms I just got on is called Blue Sky, and it's actually really more what I think social media should be, because social media is broke. It's not broken. It's we as a people that are broken, that we go on and we use our keyboards to opinionate everything nowadays. And I really don't have time for that anymore. It was fun, and it was fun while it lasted. When social media when social media began, and we want to connect with everybody. Now it's almost the opposite. Like, I don't necessarily want to connect with everybody. I want to go get some property off grid and live in a yurt. So, but it's called Blue Sky, and I found it to be more of a nice social media platform. We're over there with our podcast, Inspired Living Radio, and podcast. Look for Inspired for Us. That's the number 4, Inspired for Us, and it's called Blue Sky. If you want to check it out, if not, totally get it. But good morning to everybody. Good morning to my moderators that just really monitor the comments and keep it clean. So if you're on today, thank you for keeping the community upbeat and uplifting. And what I want to talk about with you this morning is, growth. And some of you have been following my journey, and I talk about this on my shows or my YouTube channel. And thank you for the follows on the YouTube channel. We're over 30,000 subscribers now. So thank you for that, and prospecting with me, and questioning, and the curiosities of life, and the mysteries and mysticisms and metaphysics and phenomenon that's taking place every single day that we wake up. And that's where I started doing these shows, is because I know that there are other people. I know I'm not out there alone that have this curiosity, that have this wonder, and I believe, and I talked about this on the podcast on Wednesday, I believe that we're moving from an age of belief. Belief's always been there, but belief has really drove a lot of content, a lot of, religions. And we have tools now, technology like AI, quantum computing, that are really coming out in 2025. And I believe that we're really moving into the year of knowing. And when you know something, that can change. When you have that data beforehand, it can help you make better decisions, right? It can, from the weather, just my heart and my my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody that's impacted with these fires in California. It's not the first time. We live in this insanity cycle, and it's doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. I remember a few years back when I was in England studying at the Arthur Findlay College, the Paradise Fires ripped through, and one of the actual young ladies in the course actually had to leave and fly back because her house was at risk of burning down. It didn't, but both her neighbors did. And we are seeing examples, whether you agree with it or not, we are seeing examples of global warming at a very rapid pace, and we're going to get to a point where we get to this tipping point where we can't come back for that. And I always, not just my opinion, I always look at the science of things. As a spiritualist and as a scientist, or not a scientist, I'm not a scientist, but I like to use science in conjunction with my spirituality. Science tells us, science isn't always accurate based on subject to change, right? It's the truth of right now, but always science is just as we change, just like we move into knowing and things that we didn't know. This is moving us into uncomfortability because we're starting to know things and we have the tools to let us know that. But this global warming that we are going through, whether it's caused, again, you can get an opinion about everything nowadays, but science shows that we are warming, whether it's caused naturally or whether it's caused by us as a species. I imagine it's a combination of both, with the stuff that we put into our environment, the stuff we make, like plastics and, polymers this fire is not new. And it is, like I said, I witnessed it firsthand while I was at the college in England, where a student had to fly back home because of the Paradise Fires. It just ripped through the fires that happened in Maui. These fires are consistently happening. Scientists actually say that we're going to actually witness our first Category 6 hurricane. We didn't always have Category 5 or Category 4. It only used to go up to 3 for a long time. And the environment and the planet we live on has changed, right? And so, that's why I'm wearing the trees today is, we need to take better care of our planet as stewards, as ambassadors for the next generation. And we need to get out of this insanity cycle. Politics doesn't do anything nowadays. And I think that's why people are so, I think the approval rating for Congress is like 4% now. But they don't do anything. And so at some point, it's going to be the people that have to do something, right? Governments can only do so much before they're limited by bureaucracy or red tape or politics, right? And sometimes action has to be taken. And, it's the insanity. It's the same thing with gun control. It's the same thing with gun violence, now the leading cause of death in children in the United States. It's an insanity cycle of doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting that we're going to get a different outcome. We are not. And, part of the age of moving into the age of knowing is being able to use this data, to be able to use this information and make a logical, informed, conscious decision to say, you know what, we don't want to do this anymore. We don't want to have people losing everything. My heart goes out to the Olympian that lost 10 gold or 10 medals. 5 of them were gold. And they were interviewing him. He's like, I have the memories, but I don't have the souvenirs, right? I don't know if that can be replaced or not as a gold medal. So people are losing everything, their livelihood. You've got insurance companies now that are backing out that won't insure you. So we know that something is going on. Most of us that are, tuned into this have an awareness, and we can use that intuition to look past the bullshit, to look past the BS that's constantly coming at us, whether it's through the media cycle, through the social media platforms, or from our politicians, right? Just like I said, 2025 is going to be a year of complete transformation. And if you followed my journey, if you followed my work, I talked about the Roaring 20s back in 2018. I started doing shows and podcasts and writing articles about, does democracy have an expiration date? Does the planet change to a point where it's not sustainable? Does the Roaring 20s of transformation really take us into a new realm of human development? And I called it the Roaring 20s of transformation. And we're smack halfway in it now. We're 2025. And when people ask me what's the year ahead, I'm pretty busy in January because they want to look at the year ahead. And the best thing about the future is it comes one day at a time. Abraham Lincoln reminds us of that. We need to find the magic in the moment and plant the seeds now for the future we hope to create. One of my favorite sayings that I like to say to myself as a mantra, to when I'm being interviewed, or to my clients or my students, is it's a constant reminder that yesterday is history, tomorrow is the mystery, today is the gift. That is why we often refer to it as the present moment. And I just stay with that. I just stay with that that philosophy. because we're not guaranteed for tomorrow. People don't realize that there's over 150,000 people on average take out, natural disasters, take out pandemics. The average mortality rate is 150,000 people every single day around the world. That breaks down to 6,300 deaths per hour, 105 deaths per minute. So think about that journey, and life changes, right? I didn't always think this way. I had to come through some great traumas and tragedies. In the month of January, January for me was a very horrible month to try to get through because both of my brothers moved into the spirit world in the month of January. And so, but I live for them. I don't live with survivor's guilt anymore. And that's growth, that's wisdom, that's living for today, that carpe diem moment. And so many people have asked me, Marc, what do you think of 2025? And I look at the different tools, numerology, astrology. On the 25th of this month, we're going to have the great alignment of all the planets, right? Very rare event. We're in the year of the 9 from numerology. 9 means completion. We're coming to completion energy. The year of the snake is all about wisdom, transformation, flexibility, smooth arcing, movements in historical context that we're going to have a front row seat to. That's why I put Scooby-Doo back up, right? Or roll. But at the end of the day, all of the mysteries in Scooby-Doo, all of the monsters, usually when they took the mask off, revealed it was ourselves, right? So there's actually more than just a stuffed animal that my mom actually gave to me when she came across it. And I grew up with Scooby-Doo, and I always, the Mystery Machine, and Shaggy, and but the message was, the monsters that reveal themselves at the end of the mystery is usually ourselves. And that's what I'm saying. We have to identify as humans that we are not perfect beings, but we are destroying the environments in which we live in. And you can see it by just turning on your news. You can turn your local news. You don't even go to cable news. You can go to local news, which I always recommend watching local news, because the difference from cable news to local news is local news have to fall under the laws of the Fairness Doctrine Act from 1949, that they have to present truthful, honest journalism standards, where cable news does not. They actually got around that in the 1980s. And so if they report something that's false, they go, oh, my bad, apologies, but there's no fines, there's no penalties. That local news operates differently. So I always recommend local news, or going to sources that you trust, or gives you perspective on the media that you're receiving. For example, two of the news cycles that I now follow, I always kind of keep an eye on, just the cable news, MSNBC, Fox News, and CNN, to try to get the perspectives across the political divide. But I go to Smart News on my phone, and I also go to Ground News. Ground News is really interesting for getting my information, because when you open Ground News, it gives you at the bottom, it gives you a scale of, is it liberal, is it liberal left leaning, is it more conservative leaning, or is it more independent leaning? So you have this graph based on the article that's coming to you, and you can look down, like I just opened it up, and the sources, based on latest news today, you get this scale of blue, white, and red, or red, white, and blue, right? The American flag, but it gives you the context of which way that this is conscious bias towards. And so this case, they're looking at one of the senators. It's looking at Bob Menendez, looking at a 15-year prison term. Down below it says L50 blue, C17, which would be that independent, and R33%, which is right. So I'm actually now getting content that comes to me through Ground News that shows me where the bias is, or could be, right? We always have to make our own informed decisions, but just be mindful as we move ahead, because part of our human evolution is the information and the connections that we're all witnessing together in real time, whether they're tragic or triumphant, right? The tragedy that's going on in California, the people that were impacted and lost everything in these fires. But this is not the first time, right? We just continue to have and digest and regurgitate these conversations on, violent shootings, what happened, in New Orleans, the terrorist attacks. It's like, what point does the insanity cycle stop? We have, and we're really, when it comes to humans, we're really fickle on our memory. The latest information that comes out, and it's just like, shock and awe, and that's sensationalization, right? That's what the media loves to do. They love to get your attention. But our perception of a bad experience, it's really big today, right? But I go back to those fires. I go back to the horrible gun shootings that have taken place. Like I said, leading cause of death right now in children is guns, is murder. It's, and I know this because I lost my brother to murder, so I can directly relate to this topic. But today the information that's coming in is this big. It's a huge, and this is our perception of a bad experience. But our fickle minds and our short-term memories, we're so distracted by all the shiny objects and, ooh, look at that squirrel, and ooh, look at this, and look at this celebrity, and look at the sports, and look at the politics. And what it does, it's a distraction. And your focus determines your reality, right? That's actually a Star Wars saying that was used in one of the movies. And it's always stuck with me that, yeah, your focus does determine your reality. But in a week from now, that circle that was this big based on our perception of bad experiences is going to shrink. And then in a month, it's going to get even smaller. And then in a year, it's going to be just a tiny bad experience, right? So our perception over time does show us that we have very fickle short-term memories when it comes to these events. Now, when you're personally involved in this event, you'll remember for the rest of your lives, right? But many people have been asking me in my readings, because January, a lot of people like to book out and do a reading with me to get what looks like the year ahead, from numerology to spirituality to intuitiveness to healing to things to look for, right? But the path is not a linear. Life has never been a linear path, right? It's always, off to my right, I've got a plaque that says life happens, because life doesn't ask us what we want. We have to go out and we have to be like the snake, and we have to be flexible to the changes, like bamboo, flexible but yet not broken, or like the snake, which is going to be this year. There's going to be a lot of energy of navigating of what you observe versus what you absorb. And I would recommend that you observe it and don't absorb a lot that's going to start unpacking here in the next few weeks as well, especially here in the United States as our government changes. There's going to be a lot of influx of different opinions, divide, chaos, if you will. But that's part of today's topic, which is growth. Deepak Chopra talked about this all the time, that in order to grow, it's usually preceded, what comes before growth is chaos, right? It's that chaos moment. And one of the acronyms that I love to use is, if you know me and follow my work, you know that I love to use acronyms. And that's just the medical, my medical experiences from my past lives, because everything was in acronyms. So I use a lot of spiritual terms for my acronyms. One of them is fear, face everything and rise, right? Or false evidence appearing real. When I use and I see fear, to me, nowadays, when you've had that shaking that has caused the awakening, fear to me is a currency. And it's a currency to keep people in line, whether it's religion, whether it's politics, whether it's, corporate America. Money is currency. Fear is currency. And, when you have that fear-based energy, that is the currency that people buy into, right? And so I love acronyms like fear, like fail, first attempt in learning. Fail is not a bad thing, but we as a society look at it and we get opinion, judged for it. I hope you're failing often and failing daily, because that's where you grow. And so today's acronym is growth, GROWTH. Now, the first one, if you want to try to remember this, like I do, is to gather information, whether it's coming through social media, through your phone, through your TV, right? We didn't always have TVs. This information was not always being presented to us. I'll give you something to Google too, if you want, if you're interested, because there's a patent based on what I'm talking about. But when we come to the growth, and again, we only grow, usually it's chaos before, and it's through that chaos that we grow and we become strong. And so what we do is we gather this information of growth, gather the information that's relevant to you, it's important to you. Then what I say to do is the R in growth is to reflect on that. Sit with that, take a breath. How does it make you feel? Don't just think it, because you don't need to believe everything that you think, right? I learned that in my counseling days. Not all your thoughts are real, but feel that. How does that feel to you? How does that, do you, try to take your learned conscious, your conscious biases out of it and say, how does that make me feel, Mark, as a human? So I'm gathering information. I'm reflecting on that information. Then I'm going to optimize with that information of my growth. Okay, how do I optimize this to turn what might be a negative idea or a negative opinion into something that's more enlightening, more positive, more uplifting, right? And then you have to work at it. So we're gathering, we're reflecting, we're optimizing that information, and then we're working at that, right? For all of you out there, the year of 2025 is a great year to manifest, to bring your thoughts that are up here out into your reality. And our world is just made up. Steve Jobs, think about this. Steve Jobs, one of his quotes that he talked about was how our world is made up of other people's ideas. And if I don't know if you knew this, but on this day today is January 10th, 2025. 18 years ago in 2007, Steve Jobs introduced the first concept of the iPhone. And then the iPhone, which was the pioneer of smartphone technology, then gave break to other like Samsung, um, Google phone, the Droid, etc. But 18 years ago, he created this technology and put it into our hands to where we have everything at our fingertips. We can record, we can take a picture, we can post on social media. And that was only 18 years ago, right? 2007. And he always said that our world is created of other people's ideas. And one of the things that I've learned in my journey of self-reflection and in my growth is when we are consuming, that's where we get depression, anxiety, get detached. Humans are born to create. So instead of consuming this year, try to create this year and take your thoughts and your ideas. You may have $1 million idea right here, but you have to manifest it. You have to take action and put it into the reality. And those actions could take years, could take weeks, could take days, but you have to take actions and you have to manifest that. That is the power of manifesting, is to take your thoughts and ideas and to create so others can consume, I guess, right? So, but I always say things are born twice. First in our mind with our ideas, and then what we do to create and bring out into our world, because our world is made up. If you just look behind me, everything that's in this space right now is somebody else's ideas that created it or thought it, created it, manifested it, and brought it into my reality. Think about that. But it's only 18 years ago that the iPhone was introduced to the world. And imagine what 18 years from now is going to look like. Just think about that. Mind blowing, right? That is the age of coming into knowing, not belief anymore, knowing, robotics, AI, technology. We're going to learn. I have podcasted, forecasted, and predicted that in our roaring 20s, I guess I got 5 years for this to unfold, that we would learn that we're not alone in the universe. And that means our planet. There's a lot of places to hide on our planet. If you look at the back side of we always see the front side of the globe, right? I got my globe right off here. But on the back side, there's a whole area, millions of square miles that are just sea, that are ocean. We're 70% water. So if there's a species that's been living here the whole time, ancient species that reflects all the way back to writings, paintings, showing us to the pyramids, right? The pyramids, are significant because we can't figure out where they came from. Well, they came from another species. They came from a more intelligence, whether they're interdimensional or they've been here the whole time. But Antarctica, I said that Antarctica in the years ahead is going to unlock some major secrets for us in human consciousness. That's part of growth. Nothing to be scared of. There's always going to be, that violence and doom and gloom in the world, but this is where you grow past that. You look for the positives, the great alignment of planets that's coming up, the great coming together that I've talked about. But I've also said that in our roaring 20s of transformation, that we would learn that we're not alone, and that we're not the alpha species that we think that we are with our consciousness and our technology. There is a species of dimensional intelligence that is far superior. The drones that are taking place, the sightings that are taking place around the world. We'll learn, and it'll come through crowdsourcing. I've always said this. It wouldn't be our government. It wouldn't be the news cycle until they're forced to do it, right? Until the government has no option but to put out an actual public statement. The media, unless it fits their narrative, to put out, until they're forced to do that. It will come through the smart technology that was introduced to the world back in 2007. It'll be through crowdsourcing. And there's many different ways to crowdsource through social media platforms, VPNs, encryptions, to where things can be taken down, the information will still get out there. Even Winston Churchill back during World War II talked about, and this is before technology, right? This is just when we had the transatlantic cable that went along the bottom of the ocean to give us the ability to connect to Europe. And, Winston Churchill always said, a lie gets halfway around the world before you have time to put your pants on. And imagine what the information that's out now. So this, in your growth acronym, is to gather the information that's coming to you, because it's like drinking from a fire hose, right? And we have all this information coming at us, but gather it, reflect on it, Sit. How does it make you feel? Is it bullshit or is it real? Right. And we're going to see a lot of that in social media world. We're going to see, fake context. We're going to see AI generated content. You're going to be like, what is the reality of our world? What is real and what is not real? It's going to be based on how you judge that, based on your intuition, your choices, and your free will. But if you use the acronym of growth, you're gathering, you're reflecting, you're trying to optimize the information to better yourself and the world around you. Hopefully, not everybody's in that same mindset as me, but that's what I do. And then I work at that. So that's the grow of growth: gather, reflect, optimize, work. Then the last two are very, very hard. I teach this in my development group for my tribe. Our foundations are based on trust, patience, dedication, discipline, and grace. And the T in growth is all about trusting the process. We want to know as humans, because we're very curious and we always have been. We have, logic, we have IQs, but the way knows the way, right? It's a song that I play all the time. It's something I learned in my plant medicine ceremonies that I've now been a part of as part of my retirement and part of my spiritual growth myself. Is the way knows the way. And we have to trust that process. We may not agree with that process, but we have to trust the process. And there's power and patience. Remember that. Great power and patience. If you can not put the cart before the horse, you'll get to your destination a lot quicker and a lot smoother. So gather, reflect, optimize, work at it, trust the process, and last but not least, the biggest one that we all, especially if you're a first responder and you're in healthcare, help. Ask for help, whether you need it emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, in the material world. Ask for that help. So when we lay growth out as the acronym, and again, I love to use acronyms in the work that I do: gather, reflect, optimize, work at that optimization, trust the process, and last but not least, ask for help. Because as a retired first responder working in healthcare, working for the federal government for over 23 years, really bad at asking for help, saw it at all levels. And we sometimes, in order to grow and to have that growth, we have to ask for help from another, maybe it's a coworker, maybe help from a counselor, help from a mentor, help from a teacher. But we're not mind readers. You have to ask for help. And it took me a long time to realize that. But if you can use your growth, it's going to take you to some amazing places. So in our year of roaring the 20s, we're halfway smack in the middle of it. We're going to have a lot of things unfold that you're going to either agree with or not agree with. And there's going to be things that are revealed to us, from the James Webb Telescope to learning that we're not alone in the universe, to the secrets of Antarctica, to things that come from outer space or interdimensional. Google just announced, and they said, I'm going to wait for the proof of this, but they're quantum computing, which means that they can gather information so fast based on the quantum computer that they've made to ask these questions that we've long been asking for, from belief moving into the age of knowledge and knowing. They say that they have proof of multidimensional constructs, that there is a multidimensional. And I always said, you can see my book behind me. Well, I guess here's a better, In Between Worlds, Reflections Between Worlds, right? And I write about this and I talk about this, and I've been learning it myself, that, just because we don't see it doesn't mean it's not here. We're very blind and very deaf when it's based on the whole spectrum of what we see and what we hear. And when you realize that, multidimensional construct theory does not surprise me at all. Gravity, right? You don't see gravity, but that's a theory. But we know that gravity, if I jump off a diving board into a pool, 10 out of 10, I'm going into the pool. And that's, if not, then that means I've overcome the laws of physics, right? But gravity, multidimensional theory, wind. We don't see the wind with our physical eye. You don't actually see the wind. You see the effects of the wind. If I look outside and I got two trees, I got Little Zen and Big Zen, huge trees that, been around. One Big Zen is probably good 150 years old, and home to many, eagles and crows and birds and squirrels and even a possum. And even I think actually there's some raccoons, trash pandas that live up in the tree, but it's huge. But if that tree is moving, that's pretty powerful, right? That's a powerful force. But I don't see what's moving the tree. I see the effects of the wind on the tree, right? Air, the air that we're breathing. You don't see that air, but we know that we need it. When you don't have that air. So just because we don't see it doesn't mean it's not here. So I want you to have that perspective. And again, you don't have to agree with what I'm saying, but on my shows and in my work that I do, whether I'm writing, podcasting, or sharing with you today, is to have your perspective laid out, have that smorgasbord, have that spiritual buffet of things that you don't like, but maybe you're willing to try. Maybe you hate, I don't like beets, right? I don't like cauliflower. But if it's done in a different way compared to how I was raised and how it was served, it might be cooked in a different way or fried, or everything deep fried is always good, right? So you get deep fried cauliflower and it would taste good, right? But changing your perspective from your learned past behaviors, your conscious bias, your emotional intelligence, say, well, maybe I should try this. Maybe it is different, right? That's what I try to do to get you to explore, to discover, to dream in the body, mind, and spirit, to find the diamond within, but to also start searching for all the many hidden gems that are in our world that we just have no idea of what we're on the precipice of great knowledge and information in the age of knowing, right? And that's going to be growth. And that's going to be hard for some of you. And for others that have been on this path for a while, you're going to be like, yeah, told you so. Been talking about this for a long time. I go back to somebody was talking about when George Washington. So I live here in Washington State. I'm in Seattle, West Seattle. So I'm actually living in the state named after the first president, the first, from the Revolutionary War against England to gain independence, George Washington. So I live in Washington State, right? And George Washington, when he passed away, I think it was 1799. I think I may be getting the dates wrong. But when he died, he had no knowledge of dinosaurs. It wasn't, dinosaurs wouldn't be discovered until, 30, 40 years in the mid 1800s. Dinosaurs wouldn't be discovered based on fossils. So when George Washington was alive, he had no idea of dinosaurs, but that revealed itself, right? The past and the earth and the digging up revealed many secrets. That's why I think people loved Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark when it came out, because there was so based on, his journey and discovering the many mysteries, whether it was the stones or the ark or the cup of Christ or the crystal skulls, right? I think that's why Indiana Jones took off so well, because people have been long fascinated with the mysteries and mysticisms and phenomenon. And that's going to continue to reveal itself in 2025. These are going to come into light. And for some of you, especially if you have a learned behavior or a very strong religious doctrine, it's going to be uncomfortable because it doesn't fit in your narrative. It doesn't fit in your scriptures. It doesn't fit in your writings. But that is what history teaches us, right? And when people come to me for readings, like they're doing right now in January, I'm very busy. I tell them the best part about growth is being flexible and being able to just be in the present moment, because the future is not guaranteed. We can look down, but I do believe that we're on the brink in 2025, the year of completion in 9 from numerology, the year of the snake, which is very, people may fear snakes, but snakes are very quite patient, quite flexible, quite knowing their world around them, quite elegant in how they move. And it's just interesting that this year of all years, with everything going on, from the fires to the politics to the transformations around our planet to the drones that are taking place, I do believe that we're on the brink of significant change. Now, with the work I do, I tell people to say, wait, watch, and witness, right? Because not everything that I talk about happens real time. I started talking about the Roaring Twenties back in 2018. And at that time, people would be like, I don't know, Mark, you're kind of crazy. Well, yeah, I think we are all kind of crazy, right? But I always say being considered crazy by those who are still victims of a cultural conditioning environment is a compliment for me. I'm not culturally conditioned anymore. And sometimes when you're unplugged from the matrix, when you awaken and you're no longer buying in to what's just being given to you and you're just force feeding, you're eating it, you become a free thinker. And when manipulation stops, rejection begins, right? So I always say, my buddies tease me all the time, psychic and medium and the work that I do, that's fine. But being considered crazy by those that are still victims of a cultural conditioning format is a compliment to me. But I believe that we're on a significant change we're on the brink. I'm not a doom and gloom. I've always talked about the great coming together from a global standpoint. I don't know if that's impacted by natural disasters, a super volcano, extra dimensional beings, but something is going to be a trigger and a catalyst to bring us together to really start getting out of these insanity cycles, taking care of our planet, protecting our children, gun violence, murder violence, geopolitical struggles. These are all going to they're going to become very small based on the relative big things that are coming in the age of transformation or Roaring 20s and in 2025. But, a lot of time this stems from rapid advancements in technology. Just 18 years, we've gone from the first iPhone to what we know today. Think about that, 18 years. Today is when Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone in 2007, right? And we often will evolve through chaos, through many failures. We will evolve and grow and have this significant change of growth because of the advancements in our technology, our shifts in our social um, dynamics, growing awareness of global issues like what's going on in California with the horrible fires and what has happened. It's not the first time, and it will happen again, right? And climate change and inequality. It's so one of the things that just fascinates me is how much money can be around when it needs to be around, right? There's no money when people are hungry, starving, or homeless. There's always a political debate of, oh, we're giving too much money to the homeless, or we're giving too much money to another country, or we're giving too much money to a political candidate, right? It's just amazing how much money can come out when the idea is important, like political. The amount of money that was used in this political race here in the United States is just mind blowing. When it's important because you're set, you want the agenda, you want the narrative to be in control, that currency of fear, right? It's just amazing how much money comes out of the woodwork to support a person or a cause. But the inequalities that we see every day. I see it here in Seattle. I've witnessed the downfall and not just Seattle. Many cities have, 18% of the country now is homeless, 18%. And one of the things that I'll tell you is part of my growth and learning is the major surgeries that I've had in the last month, the last 9 months, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, 10 months now. I've had two major surgeries, and without insurance, my surgeries cost over $250,000. Think about that, over $250,000. If I didn't have insurance, we couldn't afford that. And most people go bankrupt or can get into homelessness because of medical, right? So we have to have conversations about our medical and how we take care of people, and not having 18% of the overall population homeless and not knowing where their next meal is going to be. That's inequality. But thank God, and thank God I had my wife's insurance when I retired from the federal government. There was a gap there where we didn't have insurance. Now I'm double covered because now I'm retired and have my federal insurance back, and I'm still on my wife's insurance. But there are people out there that don't have insurance and cannot afford. And I had to have these surgeries. I had to have a knee surgery. I ruptured my patella tendon, which means I could not walk. Literally, my left leg just dangled, had no control. So I had to have that, right? Low back surgery, but at a cost of over $250,000 within 9 months. So that's the inequality conversations we have to start talking, because as we move into our advancements of technologies, like I said, we're on the brink, we're growing, we're in the year of transformation, the decade of transformation in our roaring 20s. But robotics and AI and what the AI is going to do in healthcare, my wife and I were talking last night, and unfortunately, after a long, great life, her grandfather, Bob, moved into the spirit world last month. And he was 94. And he had, him and his wife of almost 77 years, I believe. They've been together that long, but they were paying lots of money a month for assisted living, right? To still have that independent but assisted living. And I said, I don't know if I live another 50 years or another 40 years to get into my 90s, I'm not sure that healthcare is going to look the same way that it does now. If we can go in 18 years from the first iPhone to this concept, I can imagine within the next 20 years that we'll see more robotics and AI, especially taking care of our elderly, working with inequality, working with data to address climate change and the problems that we're witnessing. But at the same time, it's going to be driven by money. It's going to be driven by free will and choices, and the human ego that does drive and creates the world around us that I was talking about earlier. But these are the conversations we're going to have, because I believe that I'll probably be taken care of by robots in the future, right? Because wages, jobs are going to start to come down. New industries are going to be created in our roaring 20s with our technology, with space exploration. SpaceX actually is getting ready to launch Starship this morning, I believe, seventh launch. So we're going to see all these changes, which I find to be exciting. Other people may find that fear-based, and again, that's fine. False evidence appearing real. But when we have rapid advancements in technologies and shifts in social dynamics, growing awareness of global issues, and what we can do to better help people with inequality. These innovations in AI, in artificial intelligence, biotechnology, nanotechnology, renewable energy. We are going to run out of oil, whether you want to agree with that or not. Science The scientists and the supply and demand shows us in the years ahead, we will run out of oil. So we have to find new ways of renewable energy. We can only take so much from the earth. And I believe that's why the earth is shaking us, because we're taking too much from her. We harvest, think about everything we harvest, from the house you live in to the computer chips that are in your phone. These all come from the earth. All the riches, all the resources, all the materials come from planet earth. And we are raping her of her sources. And at some point, there's going to be an ending point to that. There's going to be a time to pay the piper moment, because we can only take so much from the planet that we live on. And as far as I know, unless NASA comes out tomorrow and has an announcement, announces that there's another planet. There is another planet. I can't remember the name of it. It's like a K2b, but it's twice the size of Earth. They know of it, but we can't get there by means of our current technology and travel. But again, the James Webb is going to uproot some of the beliefs into the knowledge. I've talked about this in my previous episodes in my podcast, the Drake equation, Dyson spheres, looking out to see that we are just one of many species in a universe that has more stars than all the sand on planet Earth. Think about that. There's more stars and planets in our universe than all the sand on Earth. That's just mind blowing. But when we learn that we're not alone, that's a paradigm moment. That's a tipping point where we start to think bigger. We start to think broader. The perspective grows. And we start to look at things like using artificial intelligence, biotechnology, nanotechnology, renewable energy, and how that will transform our lives, but how we'll also interact with one another. I think a lot of times, the two things I say is, why do UAPs or extra dimensional being ships have lights? Why have lights? If you're so advanced and stellar, you obviously have technology that you can hide from us, right? If we've gone from the first iPhone in 18 years to this, and this species is 500 years ahead of us in the advancement of technology, they can hide from us. They don't need to reveal themselves. But UAPs, UFOs, extra dimensional beings have lights because they're showing us that they are watching us, that they observe us. I'm an experiencer. I had my first experience in the Coast Guard. You've heard me talk about it in my interviews, my podcast. That's when I became an experiencer and a believer that there is more than meets the eye, right? But UAPs and UFOs, or the drone phenomenon that's going on both coasts around the world, is they're showing us. There's lights on there because they're showing us that they are here. Doesn't mean they have to interact with us, right? They can just show us that, yes, we are observing you humans and you guys need to get your shit together, right? Now, it is the longest running conspiracy known in mankind. So I can put on my tinfoil hat, I guess. I always say, if you get a thing of Reynolds wrap, it's included in everything of aluminum, Reynolds wrap aluminum, included in every box is a free hat, because you can put your tinfoil hat on and be like, well, I'm not going to believe that conspiracy theory. But it's going to reveal itself. And I always, like I said, wait, watch, and witness. You can go back and look at my previous work that I've talked about on YouTube, or my podcast, Inspired Living, and we've talked about these, But as we move into how we're transforming through growth, through knowing, it's going to increase our interconnectedness. I don't see a decrease. I know right now we're more connected than any time in the history of the world, but we're more disconnected, right? And I believe that these growth moments, these learning moments of growing, these moments of perspective, or a tipping point, it's going to increase our interconnectivity. It's going to increase our interconnected of our world through communications, but also through travel. Travel is going to be a thing. They're testing the new jets where you can go around the world in less than 4 hours. I could go from Seattle to London in about an hour at supersonic speed up in the atmosphere. So our travel, our connection is going to bring us even closer together, right? There's going to be a more collaborative approach to how we solve major issues, using data, using that growth, that I talked about, that growth, acronym of gather information, reflect on the information, optimize the information, work at the information that you have and how you can make it better process, trust the overall process, and then seek help. Like these fires now, I know that the Canadian firefighters and firefighters all across the country are going to California to help save LA, right? So that is the help. The planes from Canada are flying down from Canada now, and they're dipping the ocean and dumping the water, right? So us as humans will pull together, the great coming together, and we will solve our challenges. I know it doesn't seem like that right now, but I see a bright future ahead of us. I do. I don't see the apocalyptic Some say it's the end of the world. It's never the end of the world. It's the end of humankind and mankind, if that's the case, because Mother Earth has been here for many billions of years and will continue on. It's up to us whether we want to be good stewards and choose to work in conjunction with nature, with Mother Earth, this symbiotic relationship. Without trees and water, right, there's no air. And if there's no air, there's no human. So it's all interconnected, right? And I do believe as we move forward with all of the advancements that we're seeing, even though chaotic at times, it's going to pull us together and it's going to help us solve. And that's what I'm saying. We're on the brink. And, it's overall the combination of this technological process that we're going through and a collective push. And I do feel like there's a collective push for positive change. To me, the data, the consciousness, the energy, the flow, to me, in my humble opinion, it tells me that we're on the verge of a new era in human development, in human consciousness, moving from a three-dimensional construct into a fourth-dimensional construct, learning that we're not alone, using tools to help us live longer, to live better, to live more interconnected, helping our planet, taking care of our planet, because the alternative is scary. And I don't want to set an intent or put energy into an intent that has a scary outcome like that. I know that there are some people out there in the world that do the same work intuitively, psychically, mediumship, spiritually, and sell that. But again, that's currency, right? Fear sells. That's why the media does so well, because they're always, selling that philosophy. So I hope that makes sense for today. Use that acronym of growth: gather, reflect, optimize, work, trust, ask for help. Right? 6 things. It's a great way to remember the word growth, because we are in the age of knowing. We're moving from belief into knowing, and we're in the roaring 20s of transformation. So I want to thank you for joining me today. I'll get into some questions here in just a second. I've set up something new behind me. There's a little multimeter right here. You can see it right here. And if somebody notices that fluctuate, you may have noticed that there's a green light right at the top, right here. There's a green light. But I put this just off my shoulder because sometimes when I'm interacting with what is unseen, and nothing demonic or scary, don't buy into those Hollywood, I love Hollywood movies. I love movies, obviously, but I don't buy into the concepts that it's, here to harm you, here to hurt you. I haven't experienced that. And if I do, I'll share that with you. I'll share that. But that meter behind me is a multimeter. And right now it's been green, but sometimes when things fluctuate and we don't see it, I say that we have 3 eyes in life: 2 to look, 1 to see. Sometimes that multimeter will light up, and that tells me visually that there's something going on that I don't see, because everything is based in energy, frequency, and vibration. And if you really want to unlock the secrets of the universe that I'm talking about, Nikola Tesla talked about in the 1800s, if you want to unlock the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And I personally believe, that our souls, as reincarnate, and we have souls, we don't have races or sexes or religions. I honestly believe that these are artificial divisions beyond, and it's very easy to stay in that matrix and to know, you're a certain race or you're a certain sex or you follow a certain religion. But the souls don't, just like the fires that are happening in California, the fire consumes. It doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, a black person, a white person, a brown person, a yellow person. Fire doesn't care. Fire is life. I mean, it's through the fire that the phoenix rises. And, our souls, and that's where we got to get to, because that's where we're not at. And our souls don't have races or sexes or religions, it's something to think about as we move forward in this. This year is already just starting off with a bang, So I hope that makes sense. Use that growth technology that I'm talking about, that growth acronym. And then I'll give you this, if you want to Google this number, just for, if you want to go prospecting, I think all of us are intuitive prospectors, but if you want to prospect for the diamond, the knowledge, the wisdom, the ancient wisdom, for the diamond within, but the hidden gems around, just Google this number: US 650-6148-B2. And I'll put that, let me put that in the Facebook page. Let me get over and I'll start answering your questions. We can do some live readings. Just Google this number. Let me mute that. I'll pull it up here. What happened? What happened? Lost my Zoom. Where are you at, Zoom? There we go. Okay. So the internet's been acting clunky today. Like I said, I couldn't get my music library to pull up. I can't get Facebook to load properly. It's taken forever. So if I see you, I'll give you a shout out, of course, and then we'll open up for reading. We'll open up for reading here in just a second. Three ways that you can connect to me. Let me put. I got to put all these links in so we can get ready to do that. Hold on. Invite. Copy. Okay. All right. So the first one is Google this patent. This is actually a patent. If Facebook will let me, we'll see. US 6506148-B2. If you're curious about information that comes to us, this is actually a patent from the patent office under this number. Somebody sent this to me, and to me, it's no longer a conspiracy theory. It's your television is used as a method. Think about it. Tell a vision. Just break it down. Just use your common sense. Tell a vision. And when you turn on your tell a vision, we call it TV for short. You turn on a certain program, certain news cycle, certain thing that you resonate towards. We call that a program, right? So programming, television can also be tools to manipulate. And like I've told you, once manipulation stops, rejection, but also growth begins because you're now stepping outside of your comfort zone to learn about things that you maybe didn't think about, right? So I hope that makes sense. We'll go ahead and let me get the reading room set up here. Let me get over to my phone. I'll put in the Zoom room. If you want to come into the Zoom room and have a chat based on everything I was talking about today, I'd love to chat with you. We'll put the avatar today with the Zoom room. We'll do a little heart, me holding a heart. That's the Zoom room link. And in the Zoom, if you can't get into Zoom, then that means that either on your phone or your desktop, you haven't downloaded the Zoom. So it's the passcode is always based on the year. The link is out there now. If you want to come in live, just turn your volume down so we don't get feedback. I'll put you in the waiting room so I can bring you on. But the link, you just click on the link, either mobile or desktop, and it bring you right in. If it does ask for a password, just put in 2025. But there was a couple people over the weeks who are like, I can't get in. I'm like, because you didn't download Zoom. You have to have it installed. You have to have that driver to run the application. It's easy. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. But that link now is there. You can call me on my business line. I'll put another avatar if you want. And let's go prospecting. Let's chat about all the things that are going on, what you're seeing, maybe what you're feeling. We can set intent and prayers and healing for the people in California. But it's not just the people in California, y'all. It's people all around the world. There's people, I'm thinking of the Russia, Ukraine war, and the amount of people that have died. We don't even know the number. It's just there's so much carnage and chaos going on right now. But that's the world, right? That's the world we live in. Yeah. Okay. So look for the hello avatar. That's the my business line. If you want to call my business line, and then of course you can always put comments in the section here, and then I'll get over those comments and we'll start working together on that. So let me see if my music pulled back up. I was hoping it would, but again, the library just did not want to open, and any music I play, it has to be approved through Meta, which is going to be interesting because Meta, is taking down some of its verifications on truthful information, which I find to be very, very interesting as we move forward. But again, there's a new social media platform that I'm on with my show. It's called Blue Sky. If you want to check it out, look for Inspired for Us. That's the number 4. That is for the podcast Inspired Living. You can get the podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcast now. We're also going through Audible and Alexa. Just say, Alexa, open up Inspired Living podcast, and that'll play this last episode that I talked about, moving into the age of knowing. Let's see, what else? We're on X, formerly known as Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube, and we're on Facebook. Just look for Inspired Living, picture of my ugly mug, or the handle Inspired for Us. Because if If I'm not going to be inspired for you, who else is going to be inspired for you? If you're not going to be inspired for yourself, at least I can be inspired for you and present, encouragement, motivation, and things that make you want to go prospect with me to find these mysteries and secrets and phenomenon and unknowns. The unknown and the extraordinary and the extraordinary. So so it looks like my sound collection is not loading today, so I can't play any upbeat lifting songs. But let's get into your comments. Let's get into your questions. Let me go back over to the page, and then we'll continue prospecting. All right, so into the page we go. Turn the volume down. Let's give some shout outs. Hi, Annette, sorry, not Arnett, Annette. Hi, Sanu. Good morning to my mom. Good morning to Sonia. Good morning, Wendy. Good morning, Otis. Okay. Let's see. We had somebody just pop into the. Okay. If you want to come back in, I saw somebody jump into the waiting room. If you want to come back in, Zoom room is now open, and I am now taking your reading room is open. I'm taking your questions, your comments, your feedback. I have thick skin, so if you want to have a debate about something or talk about something, we can do that as well. Hi, Angela. All right, so 3 ways to work with me today is click on the Zoom link. If my team is still on, making sure we're keeping a positive uplift community. I always say unity through community. They keep the comments. We sometimes get spam people in here, just like spam call, like, hey, go to my site, or this person can do much better or more accurate than what Mark can. That's just spam. We kick you out, we block you, you don't come back. So the best way to do it is not do it. And so there are people watching the comments, just so you know. So I thank you to my team of administrators for doing that, because it's volunteer. They don't have to, but they join me on Fridays to set this positive vibration, this inspiration, this positive living, inspired living out to the world every Friday, or when I can. So hi, Angelique. But the 3 ways to contact me, if you scroll up above, look for the avatars of me. One is my business line. You can call me at that number. 206-588-0661. That'll ring right here into my studio. You can get the Zoom link and come right into the Zoom room live with me and ask me questions. Love to have you come on video. You don't have to, but I prefer that. And then just turn any background volumes down so we don't pick that up on the show. And then you can just actually type a question into the comment section. And as I'm scrolling down, if you're one of my subscribers, if you're a Diamonds Hub subscriber, you'll have a badge next to you, a little badge that tells me that you're a subscriber on my Diamonds Hub, which is $4.99 a month. It's less than a cup of coffee. And inside that, you get monthly readings. Every first Friday of the month is Diamonds Days, where you can have readings with me. 2 different time slots on the first Friday of every month for my Diamonds Hub and my Patreon prospectors. And I'll know if you're a Patreon prospector. If I somehow miss it, just remind me. I have a lot of moving parts. Even though I'm retired, I'm more busier now than with my surgeries and retirement, but I'm more busier with all the stuff that I'm doing, which I love. The secret of life, and Steve Jobs talked about this, the secret of life is getting paid to do what you love, because the only greatest commodity you have is time. And at the end of the day, you're another day older and you don't get that time back. So I'm not whining, I'm not complaining. It's just trying to be like an octopus to manage everything. But if you're a Diamonds Hub subscriber, if you're a Patreon prospector, you'll get to the front of the line. You'll get bumped up. And then I try to get to everybody else. So it's just another reason to become a follower, subscriber. Get over to my YouTube channel. Everything is right here at marclainhart.com, and join the now 30,000 prospectors that are on my YouTube channel, having fun, different shows, different contexts, different interviews, different, hopefully after I'm recovered from these surgeries, I can get back out into nature and start doing more events, more workshops, and working on my second book. So hi, Suzanne. Hi, is it Jonas? Janice Mitchell? Janice? Jonas? Sorry if I'm pronouncing it right. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Marna. Hi, Ansel. Hello to you. Annette, hello to you. Annette, was that you that came into the Zoom room? I thought I saw your name, and I'm sorry I said Arnett. More copy, Annette. So, okay. So reading room is open. Those are the 3 ways to come in: Zoom room, phone call, or post your comment in the comment section. And if you want a reading off camera right here is I have a bunch of different decks that you can tell me what deck you want, 1 through 14. My instrument over here. But right here is decks. You can tell me what deck number you want, 1 through 14. You pick that deck. And you can also ask for a book reading, which I pick the book, you tell me the page number. So a couple different ways, or you can just ask me straight up. We got Angelique coming in. Let's ask her to come in. Turn your volume on. Let's see, give her a second to get in here. We'll ask her to unmute. Hopefully she'll come on video and share with us what's going on. Hi, Susan. Susan Mack, welcome, welcome. Angelique, can you hear us? I can't hear you, hon. You're muted. So you have to hit that red microphone. If you're on a mobile app, just swipe over left or right, hit the little red icon microphone. That'll unmute you. And I sent you an ask to unmute. So we'll give her a second. She's probably having some technical difficulties. So reading room is open. If you have a comment or you reading with me, zoom in, call in, or comment, and we'll get to that. Hi, Nicole. Nicole Comer Sharp, hello to you. Hello to a bunch of symbols. I don't know how to read that, so I don't even know what language that is, but hello to you. We've got people that come in from all over the world. So we'll see if Angelique can figure, if she can figure out. If you hear my voice, Angelique, you have to unmute. There you go. And
okay.
There.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Happy New Year to you. Thanks for coming into the room to see what's on your mind and do a little prospecting with me and figure out the technology that I've just been talking about for the last hour. Technology advance, where we're going. Isn't it just crazy though that 18 years ago that a first iPhone was introduced to the general public from Steve Jobs, and here we are 18 years later. Imagine what the next 18 years are going to look like, right?
Oh yeah.
It's mind blowing with what we see going on in the world and our technology and the AI and the robotics. But it's fun. It's a fun time to be alive as well. So where are you coming in from? Where are you at in the world?
Seattle. I live in Seattle.
Okay. Okay. I just asked. I can't remember because I work with so many different people, and we have people come in from Seattle to Dubai to Australia. So
I think that's awesome.
What can I do for you this morning?
Just hanging out. I thought I'd listen to your prospecting.
Okay. Well, you don't have a question or a comment?
Well,
or
actually,
you got something, I'm sure.
I'm looking at changes this year.
Okay, good.
We're trying to buy a house.
Okay.
And I guess I have a question. Do you think it's coming soon?
Sure. So let's tune into that question. Let's tune that in. I don't like to think a lot because when I think, it puts me back up into my mind, right? The ego mind. So I always like to say, feel the energy of the question. So ask your question one more time, and I'm not going to think it. I'm going to feel it, and that's what triggers my abilities to do what I do, I guess is what I'm saying. So are you going to this year? Are you more specific, like a time frame, or just in 2025 in general?
We're hoping to be moved into a home by November of 2025.
Okay. Yeah,
and
so
I want to know if it's realistic.
Yeah. So as I feel the energy of your question, that does feel feasible to me by November. If you would have said by March or April, I would have felt like, no, that's not the timing wouldn't match up. But November does now I use the word feasible because it's going to take some legwork on your end, and of course real estate and paperwork and titles and loans, that takes time. But it does feel feasible to me by November of this year.
Nice. That's what I was hoping for. We're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, and I always, Angelique, I tell people all the time, whether you're a client or a student, set your intentions, visualize. There's so much power. Before I started doing any of this work, I actually took a course at the University of Washington when I was taking my sports medicine degree, and it was visualizations, meditations, and manifestations for the professional athlete. It had nothing to do with what I do today in spiritualism. And there is great power in visually seeing. Like, I want you to be specific of what you want this house to look like. So for example, when we bought our house here in West Seattle, we did a list. We moved from Marysville after 15 years. We've been in West Seattle now almost 10 years. But we actually set a list of 22 things that we wanted, our desires and our intentions for what we wanted in that house. And it was about a year after we got in this house, we went through the list and we met almost every single one of those 22 intentions. I think we were 19 out of 22 that we had met. So what I'm saying is, I want you to visualize what this house looks like, what the address looks like, what the color looks like, what the floor plan looks like, what the location looks like, and start to set your intentions, because the energy will start to work with you. The universe, the energy the spirit world, whatever your belief systems will start to work with you as a human to manifest your hopes and desires in November of 2025. So there's great power in what I'm saying. There's great power in you and what you set your intentions to do. A lot of people don't set intentions, don't visualize what they want. But if you do, I'm telling you firsthand, I'll be doing a masterclass later this month on manifesting and the power of manifesting, but also the power of patience. Be patient with this process is what I would tell you, Angelique. So,
Oh, cool.
feasible.
I have an idea. I do have an idea.
Put it to paper though too. Bring it from here into reality. Put it on a piece of paper so you can go back. Put it on your fridge so you see it every day. Put it on your mirror in your bathroom so you see it every day. And when that manifests, you can come back and go, that's exactly what Marc was talking about. Those details of what you want. But I always say, believe it, see it, achieve it with what we do. And
I like that.
and again, I want to use the word feasible because there's many moving parts to this. It's feasible, but yes, November of 2025 does feel good to me.
That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're very
You pull a
welcome.
card for me?
Yeah. What deck would you want? 1 through 14.
You choose.
Me choose. Okay. Well, I'll go right here. So again, energy. This is my nuclear deck, my atom deck. My, everything is energy, frequency, vibrations. Take a deep breath. When you hear the word stop in your mind, say it out loud, and that's the card that I'll pull because I'm just going to be shuffling while you set that intention.
Stop.
Okay. Heart and mind. The heart mind card. So what this card represents is you're going to have a lot of thoughts about your house and manifesting, but trust your heart too. We call the heart and mind. I actually call this the asshole card of spiritualism, the asshole of the yin and yang, because the mind is always in conflict with the heart and the heart's always in conflict with the mind. But if you can move past these two constructs and go down to your belly button is where you were brought into life, the psychic, we call that the very psychic part of the body because that's where you were connected to your mom. That's where life began. And if you trust your gut, why do we say trust your gut, right? Why would I trust where I put food? Well, your gut is not where the food goes. Your gut is your solar plexus. That's your umbilica that brought you into life. So put your hand over your belly button, take a deep breath, and feel, not think, not feel it here, but know it down in your belly button, and you'll know the choices to make. But I call this the asshole of the yin and yang. So
okay, cool.
Against each other. So trust your gut is what I'm saying.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Well, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Happy New Year to you, and I'll see you next time here on the prospecting page.
Definitely. You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Thanks to Angelique for coming in. Appreciate that. Again, the Zoom room is open if you want to come in and have just a basic conversation like what I just had with Angelique. Regardless of where you're at in the world, come on in. You can call me. The business line is up above in the comment section. You can come into the Zoom room by clicking the link. Look for my avatars as you scroll up. We get a lot of postings, within an hour. So look for the avatars, or if my team is still on, if my administrators are still on, if you can grab the link and just share it with anybody that wants it, we'll get to you. Or just comment in the comment section, and as I scroll down, I'll pull a card for you, or whatever that you're looking for. So let me catch up here because when I'm talking, the comments continue to stream, and I'll give you some shout outs here. So let's see here. So we saw Angelique, Anseth, Marna, Nancy. Yep. Susan Mack. Hello to you, Susan. Hi, Nicole Sharp. Otis says, Happy New Year, Marc. May I get a card deck 11, card 7? You bet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so you pick the I Allow deck real quick, and you want card number 7. This is for Otis, one of my, you can see, if you look at Otis' name, you can see that she's a follower or subscriber, because you're going to get badges. And I don't control that, y'all, just so you know. You have to subscribe to the page, follow the page, share out the page, contribute to the page. The algorithms measure that within Facebook. I don't control that, but I do have badges set up if you do want to. So we got the I Allow deck, number 11, and you want the 7th card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is for Otis. Otis, it says this: I allow myself to experience change with ease. And so these are the 4 seasons: summer, or fall, winter, spring, and summer over here. The doves always represent hope. But it's saying, just breathe in the change, knowing that when the trees, I look outside here and all my trees don't have leaves, but I know in a few months those leaves will return. We're in cycles, and that's part of life. The only thing consistent in life is change. So allow yourself, Otis, to experience change with ease. Don't let it, we're creatures of habit. So when change happens, we're like, and if you were listening to the show earlier, I said our perspectives change over time. First, the experience is this big when it happens, and then, a week later it shrinks, a month later it shrinks, and then a year later it's about this big. So embrace change with ease, right? Is what that card is telling you. So if you like what Otis just did, you can give me, I got 14 decks. You can give me number 1 through 14. You can actually, I can shuffle it for you. You can pick the card specifically like Otis just did, deck 11, card 7. You can ask for a book reference and give me a page number, many different ways to communicate. I also have dowsing rods if anybody wants to use the dowsing rod. I've got a pendulum right here if you want to, challenge the pendulum to, use energy. And again, this isn't woo-woo stuff. This is a lot of just science, human energy field, the HEF, using the HEF, the human energy field, to power things that are very sensitive to energy, frequency, and vibration. So we can do dowsing rods. I've got the dowsing rods next here. Pay attention to the multimeter behind me if you're coming in for mediumship. What else? Cards. I'm gonna lift up my energy a little bit. I got my boom boom. You guys ever had this boom boom? Good stuff. Just really opens up your nasal passage, but it just kind of like lifts up your energy. It's called boom boom. I have a bunch of these all around, so just keep my energy up. So hi Carol, hi Trisha, hi Paul Vincent, Rajesh, Susan Green, hello to you. Sonia, hello to you. Yes, Colleen, see it. No, believe it. Most of us want to see it. The power of intention, Colleen, starts with the intent of energy within. Believe it. It starts with belief. It starts with you. And again, we're moving from the age of belief into the age of knowing. So believe it, see it, achieve it. So we just got to put that first, because most people want to see it before they believe it. I teach to believe it, then you start to see it. Hi, Chrissy. Holly, Andriana Vajeras, hello to you. Hi, Charlene. Dennis, hello to you, Dennis. Sonia, card please, deck 14, card 5. Perfect, Sonia. So if you're on, just give me a heart and a like so I know that people are still on, because we get a lot of names and some people come on and come off. But Sonia, I'll get your card. Betty, hi to Betty. Susie McCardle. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Pedro. You're welcome, Otis. Yeah, our hearts and prayers and holding space for everybody in the LA area. Everybody is just, it's really hard to watch, to be honest with you. From an empathic standpoint, it's very overwhelming. So I have to really mind and observe so I'm not absorbing that energy, because it's just apocalyptic. But again, not the first time this has happened, not the last time it's going to happen. As long as we stay in this insanity cycle and not make changes and really try to make a change in who we are as humans, this will continue to go on. So Sonia, you wanted card deck 14? 1, 2, 3, 14. Okay. So this is the Wisdom of Words deck. And you want, let me just give this a shuffle real quick, because I did not shuffle this deck, to be honest with you. Sonia, are you still on? Can you throw some hearts up or some likes, just so I know you're on? Deck shuffled. You want card 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, powerful card. Powerful card for you. Now, this card here is exactly, I haven't pulled this card in a long time for you, for anybody, but this is for Sonia. Sonia Sonrisas? Rises? Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. But this card is all about what I was talking about today: growth, gather, reflect, optimize, work, trust, ask for help. The caterpillar will only become the butterfly if it goes through an intense struggle of the cocoon. And it's the intense struggle that it sharpens its wings that allows the butterfly to fly. So this card is all about patience. Patience. What you put in, you'll get out. What you sow, what you reap, you sow. What you put in here and you're patient here will open up to new opportunities here, which also gives you broader, higher perspectives, because the caterpillar has a different perspective than the butterfly, right? So this card is all about trust and process, but this is what it says. It's called evolution. It's a number 3 energy, so it's creative, expressive from a numerology standpoint. Evolution is not just allowing things to move on without focus. It requires a change in disposition to direct movement, which is necessary for growth, survival, and for further development of original ideas. The power of spirit, quote unquote, spirit in action, is promoting evolution whether we like it or not. But if we want to play a part in directing the evolution of spiritualism, the direction of who you are, we must act constructively now. This card also has words like change, endless, go with the flow, continuous, embrace, enjoy the ride, universal, unstoppable. Great card, great card. I love this card, actually. You know what? I'm going to actually use this card because I talked about this because that's what came up in my meditations this morning. Earlier this morning, it was about growth. So I'm actually going to use your card as my mantra this week. I've got three little things where if there's information that's relative, I'll put it there to keep that into my my awareness and have that reminder there for retention levels as well. That we do have to be patient. We do have to allow growth, and that's what's happening. So Sonia, does that make sense for you? That card, deck 14, card 5. You picked it. There's your message. So, all right. Let me. Hi, Bob. Hi, Carol. Hi, Tara. Good to see you. How are you, my friend? Reading room is open, so I'll be on here for just a little bit longer. If you want to go over to my YouTube channel, all the links, everything is here at marclainhart.com. I'll have my website updated. My newsletter will be coming out here next week, Soul Adventures, that features the interview with Canvas Rebel. They did a featured interview on me, Canvas Rebel magazine. So that was great. New podcast is out. So if you're a Diamonds Hub subscriber or Patreon prospector, my subscribers, you already have that information that's already presented usually before I present it out to the rest of the public, and another reason to be a subscriber. We'll have Diamonds Day the first Friday of every month. What else? Zoom room's open. So if you want to come in the Zoom room, I'd love to talk with you. Don't be shy. I'm human just like you. I just have different experiences and different abilities than some of y'all. And I guess that makes me weird and unique. And hi, Chucky. Yeah, Sonia says yes. Hey, BG Highville. Hi, Carol. Miss C, how are you? What was the one that I just saw that it made me laugh? But in the Google, if you go up in the comment section, Google that. Let me know what you find in that patent. Google that number. I put it in the comment section. US 6506148-B2. It's actually literally a patent, and you'll kind of look at television and content of social media and news cycles. You'll look at it differently, is what I'm telling you. It's just somebody sent that to me. One of my subscribers, and I was like, oh, that is very, very interesting. But what was I saw something and I saved it. Oh, here's a couple things. Remember, some of your spiritual gifts that you may be opening up to and learning and changing, and your perspective is changing or healing or transforming, or, we call it ascension, alchemy, attunement. There's many words used for it. But remember, some of your spiritual gifts, especially back, years ago, were also mistaken for mental illness. Now we're having conversations to address mental illness. We're having conversations which is part of the age of moving from believing into knowing. So you may be having experiences, doesn't mean that you're having a mental illness, but you're becoming aware of mental health. And awareness is the greatest agent for change. And you may be opening up some spiritual gifts that may scare you based on your learned behavior, how you were raised, any kind of religious indoctrination. And so that's pretty understandable. But the one that I was looking for was about being weird. Here's another one. To everyone that signed my 7th grade yearbook, you'll be happy to know that I did, in fact, quote, stay cool. That made me laugh. What was the one about being weird? Maybe your path is harder because your calling is higher. That's another one that I saved. I get a lot of snapshots just because they inspire me, and I like to share them. Here's a good one. Get your shit together. SHIT. I was talking about acronyms, right? Growth acronym, fail acronym, fear acronym. Here's another one for shit. S is self-care. H is happiness. I is inner peace. T is time management. So get your shit together. Another acronym that you can use. Oh, man. All right. So we'll leave the reading room open. Man, I still wish I found that picture. Oh, where was that? Yeah, January 25th will be the date to remember, as all 7 planets of the solar system will align and be visible. So mark that date down, January 25th. It's a great alignment. Here's a good one. Every cell in your body is eavesdropping on your thoughts. So think about your thoughts, because thoughts become words, words become energy and vibrations and actions. Actions become behavior, behavior becomes destiny. So just remember that as well. All right, I'll do it next time. I don't know where it's at. But again, when you become a free thinker, people are going to look at you differently. When you start to think for yourself and not be caught up in manipulation and, you know, certain things, pay attention to that. It's not an easy path. Okay, let me go back to the page. I'm not sure what I do with that. Okay. Back to Facebook. All right. All right. So any other questions? Miss C says, "Hi, Mark. Happy New Year to you. And oh, just let you know, after I spoke to you last, I kept seeing Christmas tree earrings everywhere." Isn't that funny how that works? You know, if you have a reading with me, and again, you don't have to have a reading with me, y'all, but do your research. If you want to do a background check on me, do it. You can go to marclainhart.com. You can look at my testimonials. You can look at my Google rating. You know, I have testimonials on my professional directories that I've been a part of for years now. And I always welcome and encourage feedback because that just helps me to be the best version of myself in the work that I do. But I'd done a reading for Miss C before Christmas, and I can't remember the actual method. She'll remember more. Everybody remembers more of what I say than what I say. But what I always tell people is when you have a reading, some of the stuff that I may be giving to you and sharing with you or knowing or feeling about, it may not make sense at the time of the reading. But I have found, in fact, my latest testimony was just a reading I did for a young lady in Oregon, and I'd given her some information, and you can tell after when I'm giving people information, then you can tell that there's that skepticism, which I think is healthy to be skeptic. They're like, oh yeah, okay, but some of the best evidence comes after the reading because Miss C, you become aware of that, and awareness is the greatest thing to change. The signs, the symbols, the synergy, the synchronicities that take place because it starts with you, your awareness, your intuition. So that's why you start to see the earrings, but it's also it's a verbal without being a vibration on a vocal cord. It's a communication from what is unseen, the spirit world, those that reside there, your friends, your family, your fur babies, right? But I've been doing this work long enough to know that some of the best evidence and information will come after the reading because you started the intent. And that last testimony I did, I told her it was something about eagles in the tree because I asked her if she had birds in the tree, which pretty general statement, right? The birds are in trees, right? That doesn't take rocket scientists to know that. But I said specifically, do you have eagles? And she said no. And I told her that I'm seeing two eagles land in the tree because that's her mother and her sister that never incarnated communicating to her from the spirit world. Not that they are eagles, but it's a way to trigger the clairvoyance, the mind, or the clairsentience to know. And it wasn't more than a couple hours. She went to a medical appointment and she wrote back. She goes, I came back and it wasn't even a couple hours. And there were two beautiful bald eagles in the tree. She actually got out of her car. It was by her house, like literally right under her. She stood at her house and watched these eagles until they flew away. So she did a testimonial that you can read on my professional directories. But that is what I'm talking about. That is the evidence. That is the phenomenon, the information, the intention of when I say something and it doesn't make sense now. That's why I always say, wait, watch, and witness, right? But some of the best information and evidence and memories can come after because it's all based on you, y'all. The word psychic does not mean going to another person to figure out your life and what's ahead, right? You know, I don't prescribe, I don't diagnose, I don't predict somebody's death. I don't. That's not what psychic is. Psychic is means of the soul, and there's information that I can give you about your soul. You know, I may, do as a medical intuitive with over 25 years of healthcare background, emergency medicine, and a certified healthcare provider. But if I was to give you a medical intuitive information based on health conditions, I also have to use a disclaimer. You need to go see your board certified doctor or your board certified naturopath, right? I'm not a doctor, so I cannot prescribe or diagnose, but I can give you information and modalities, holistic modalities that would help you in your journey of life as a medical intuitive, right? So there's that difference. But the word psychic is really means of the soul, your journey, your soul, not what somebody tells you, right? You know, you can go to 100 different psychics and get 100 different, pieces of information. But I always tell my clients and my students, it's all about your journey and how it feels. Just like when Angelique was asking, what do you think? I don't try to think because that's my ego area up here. I try to move down into my claircognizance of knowing or feeling that information. And like I said, the word that came up was feasible. Doesn't mean that it's going to make place. There's going to be some work that makes it feasible for her to be in her house in 2025 by November. Okay. So any other, we'll get into the last call. If you want to come in, 3 ways to communicate with me today. I'm here on most Fridays, here on the Intuitive Prospector page. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. So sometimes I do pop on outside of my normal schedule just to do fun things like experience etheric mediumship. But I'm here most Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be on for an hour, 2 hours, just depends. It's my way of giving back. It's my way of paying it forward, using my time to better the world, to inspire the world, to encourage you, to motivate you, to get you thinking outside the box. You can get my podcast. Just go to marclainhart.com or just type Inspired Living and get us wherever you listen to podcasts now. We are a syndicated ranked podcast for both spiritual and inspiration. So thank you to FeedSpot for recognizing us that. And, you can come in. 3 ways to come in. Call me, Zoom me, or put a comment and tell me what you want. 14 decks, what deck you want, what card number you want. You want a book reading, you want a page number out of that book reading, or you can just ask me, something that's on your heart, on your mind. So hi, Ira, hi, Alicia, hi, Mel, hi, Janine, hi, Jackie, hi, Heather, Ruth, hi, Lori. Yeah, all right, Tara, I see you. I can't pronounce the one name above Tara's name, but hello to HCC. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that first part. HCC Handra Shakara. So I apologize. But yeah, Miss C, coming back to you, some of the best evidence comes after the reading because it's based on your intuition, your intentions, and your awareness. All right, so Tara, you want, let's see here, deck 5, card 13, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so today was the Rumi deck. That's deck 5 today. And you want card 13. So we'll count 13 cards out. And again, we're kind of getting in the last part of the reading room. So again, if you want to get your questions asked, come to the Zoom room or call, please do so now because I'm going to start ending the show here in just a few minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So here's the 13th card. This is Rumi. So Rumi was a mystic poet from the 12th century in the part of the world that we would know as Afghanistan, Iraq. That's where Rumi would be known. But this card here is called the human gift. So this is interesting because this looks like a human that needs some inspiration, guidance from the spirit world, angel, whatever your belief system is. But Tarot says this: such attraction is offered by the beloved with sweetness and generosity, yet such jealousy comes from you with so much doubt and suspicion. Do you berate yourself, blazing angel, because you have moments where you cannot trust and love more than you believe in your fear? Rise now from your doubts and admonishments and let your human self be loved. Even with all the doubt, you are cherished. You are a cherished one of the great beloved and always shall be. Be kind to your heart. Be kind to your heart. Give yourself grace, right? Give yourself grace. A lot of us miss that. We have so much expectations and so much stuff, self-sabotage from our ego that we forget to, like that last part says, you are a cherished one of the great beloved. Whatever your belief system is in the great beloved, God, Allah, whatever that is for you, but always shall be kind to your heart. And I think that's a good message for everybody. Be kind to your heart, be kind to you, be kind to others. Kindness doesn't cost anything. Sometimes it's hard to be kind to one another. I get that. I just posted a great picture, as a reminder. It says, work hard, be kind, stay humble. For me, one of the mantras that I learned early on in the spiritual journey was be humble or you're going to get humbled. And I've been humbled many times because of my arrogance, my ego, my cockiness, my confidence. And sometimes that's not needed in this journey. So work hard, be kind, be humble. All right. So last call. Thanks, Tara. I appreciate you. Happy New Year, my friend. Thanks for being a subscriber. You'll see Tara's name because she's got a little green heart badge. That means she's a subscriber of the Diamond Hub. Love to have more people get on the hub so I can start doing more with all of you. Hi, Lori. Hi, Ruth. Heather Jackson, Jackie McPherson. Hello to you. Mel Villanueva. Janine De Palma. Hello to you. Ira Paulo. Alicia. I don't know how to say this name, so I'm not. It's Lila Specia. So I try to give you a shout out, but if I'm totally just crushing your name, I do apologize. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Marquetta. Marjorie. Hello to you. Marjorie Anderson. Hello to you. Audrey. Hello to you, Audrey. Shiri. Hello, Shiri. You're welcome, Tara. Good to see you. I appreciate you as well, my friend. Thanks for being here. Hi, Alan. All right. So last call. Reading room's going to start closing down. 3 ways to come in: Zoom room, call me, or comment for what you want in the comment section. 14 decks today. You pick the deck. You can tell me the card number, or we can shuffle live, and you can actually pick the card as I'm shuffling. We like to call that working in the quantum digital metaverse that we find ourselves in. Hi, Vincent. So any other questions, or did I miss your question? If I did miss your question, sometimes I apologize because I just don't always see them in real time. It's based on the social media platforms, right? So if I did miss your question, go ahead and put your question again, put a little asterisk bump with your question again, because that will alert me that I missed your question, but we don't have to scroll up to all the comments that have been going on for the last hour. Hi Torben. Hi Carmen. Thanks for being here. Just open it up if you want a quick reading. You can zoom in live. We can look at psychic. We can look at intuitive tools. We can look at mediumship. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. You can call my business phone, 206-588-0661. That is my Seattle line. That is my business line here for my studio. And that look for the avatars up above. What else? Visit me at marclainhart.com if you want to book a reading or get my latest article. My newsletter will be coming out. I'm working on it right now, including my featured interview with Canvas Rebel magazine, which was a lot of fun. Latest podcast is out. We got a guest coming up in 2 weeks. What else? I'm doing a master class at the end of this month on manifesting, doing a podcast interview at the end of the month. What else? Lots of cool stuff happening. So, all right. Hi, Kathy Piper. Hi, Polivia. Hi, Paula Wise. Thanks for being here. Any other questions? Again, please don't be shy. I come on here for this purpose, to share inspiration and messages on Fridays, right? Like I like to say, to help you out on your journey. But my way of giving back, my way of paying for it, it's free, doesn't cost you anything. Outside of here, it does cost you. So it's a great way to get a free reading and not have to pay anything. And, like I said, if you're one of my subscribers, you get readings every month for Diamonds Day or Patreon Prospectors. Both links are at. All right. So I'm not seeing any other questions come in. So I'm going to open up. I don't know what's going on with my library today for my music library, but Meta just is not, it's not opening. So I'm not sure. I'll have to look at that, see what's going on there. I'm just going to open up one more time. It's a sound collection of approved artists and songs that I can play on the air without being muted because of copyright or trademark infringements. And of course, I call out, it's a great way to recognize artists that, aren't mainstream. And so I actually, if I play their work, I'll actually give you the name of them. You can go look them up on Spotify or, wherever you get your music from. But yeah, it's not loading today, so I'm not sure what happened there. All right. All right, so I'm not seeing any other comments coming in, so that tells me that we are at the end of the show. I do want to thank you for being here this morning. I do have an upcoming event in April, the Conscious Wellness Expo and Gem Show. I will be there in April. It's here local here at the Kent Commons in Seattle, Washington. I took a picture. Where did I put that? Where's the date on that? Because I'm going to put it on my website. You can go to my events tab at marclainhart.com, and there'll be a link and where I'm at. April 26th and 27th. It's the Conscious Wellness Expo and Gem Show. Over 125 booths. It's a great way to work with me in person. I'm usually pretty busy both days, either being, doing readings and giving consults, or doing, I'll usually speak twice, do it like a live demonstration of mediumship or give a lecture on a topic. But that's coming up in April. Like I said, a manifesting masterclass coming up in the end of January. A couple more interviews scheduled, and of course, Inspired Living podcast every other week. And you can always get encore shows wherever you listen to your favorite podcast from. We're in our 9th season, if you can believe that. I've been doing this 9 years already. You can also follow me over on Insight Timer. You can get my latest book, In Between Worlds Reflections, at marclainhart.com. Other than that, I think that's all I have for you. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday. Happy New Year to you if you're just joining. Have a great weekend. If you're a football fan, I'm rooting for my Detroit Lions, since my Seattle Seahawks did have a winning record, by the way, but did not make the playoffs. So little butthurt about that. But I'm gonna root for my other team that I've always loved since the days of Barry Sanders, and Jason Hanson is my Detroit Lions. So go Detroit Lions if you're a football fan. And again, moving forward, almost knocked all my cards off. That would have sucked. Moving forward, I'm going to have this little multimeter right here, just off my shoulder. So if you ever witness the lights fluctuate or move, that means that we have different energy in the space. And it hasn't moved all day. So I'm curious to see when I do my first mediumship reading via Zoom, if it'll move, because it's just a way to measure electricity and energy. And, so it's a new visual tool I'm adding to my show. So I hope you enjoy that. Hi, Janet. Hi, Donna. Hi. Is it Ghislaine? Ghislaine? Okay. All right. So I believe I got to everybody. I'm not seeing any bump questions coming in, so I will take that as that I got to everybody and met the needs of today. Let's get my music. So I got to go to my other music library here, so bear with me, because I can still play a song that is copyright free. It's through audio blocks. So that's a website you can go get free content that you can use on your reels or your shows, your YouTube channel or whatnot. This is called The Tune of Nature, is the actual song. So hi, Ronnie. Okay, so reading room is now closing. Last call. Zoom call, comment. How could I put that? Ooh, just had download. Conference, call, or comment. So you can conference in on Zoom. So you can conference with me, you can call me, or you can comment, the 3 C's. Because the other 3 C's are make a choice, take a chance, see the change, right? So that's the other 3 C's. But the other 3 C's, if you want to communicate with me, 4 C's. If you want to communicate with me, you can conference in, you can call me, or you can comment in the comment section for any type of readings moving forward. That's how we work on Fridays. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Syrian. Hi, Naya Dang. Am I saying that right? Naya Dang. I love learning new words. I've been practicing my Spanish for almost 650 days now. So I love learning how to pronounce people's names. If I mispronounce it, my apologies. So, okay. So I think we're good to go. Again, here every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, most Fridays, unless I'm traveling or out sick or in surgeries. Because I had surgeries the last 9 months, 10 months, big surgeries and recovering rehab. But I try to be here. And again, if you want to work with me in the future, you can just type in the Intuitive Prospector, my name, Marc Lainhart. Information will pull up. You can visit me on my website, marclainhart.com. Love to work with you. Help you prospect for the diamond within. And of course, all the many hidden gems that are out in the world that have yet to be discovered and will be discovered in our Roaring 20s of Transformation in the year of 2025. So buckle up. It's going to be a ride. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm going to sign off there. God, we almost did 2 hours today, so we're having a good time. These videos and other shows are uploaded to my YouTube channel. If you want to join my YouTube channel, you can get the link there, and I'll try to put it in the Facebook page if I can. But until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate. Most importantly, whatever you're doing in the world, whatever's going on with you, I always remind people, today is all you have. Like I said, yesterday is history, tomorrow's the mystery, today's the gift. That's why we call it the present. So dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and discover that diamond within. We'll see you next time here on Metaphysical Meetup with Marc Live. I appreciate you. Namaste. Namago. Cheers.
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream. Dare to explore. Dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.